Working Class Beer Reviews is looking at Stag Beer. Yes, golden quality since 1851. This is an old one. G. Heilemann Brewing Company, that is not who owns this, that's who owned it at one point in time. It says Milwaukee, Wisconsin. G. Heilemann got bought out by Pabst, or Stroh's, and then Stroh's got bought out by Pabst. Something like that. And then now it's a Pabst brand, umbrella beer. I think if you watch Louisiana Beer Reviews, he talks about, he's able to dig up a bunch of history. When I look, I'm going to look just a little bit. Let's go ahead and then we'll get into that. 16-ounce can. Church key, like I typically do. I still challenge my viewers that do their own video reviews to church key their cans and see if it makes a difference. Got this tiny little stubby mug here. Had to rinse it out. So we're gonna let that set up. Decent head there. So originally, or not originally, but I think it was called Kaiser beer at some point. When you look up Stag, the first thing it brings up is the Greasy Dick Brothers beer, which if you watch Beer Barbecue and Baseball, his channel, he just did a review of the Greasy Dick Brothers beer, the new one. And so that's kind of it's like a throwback, a revived company out of St. Louis. And then Stag Beer was a St. Louis brand as well, an old vintage classic St. Louis brand. And, you know, also in the Illinois area. I think Greasy Dick was in Belleville, Illinois, producers of Stag with those. And then Falstaff. So at some point it bought the Falstaff brand or something like that because Falstaff came from the Lemp Brewery. Lemp was a St. Louis brewery. Also, they had a brewery here in Sedalia in the early 1900s when they started producing Falstaff as well. So I'm not finding a whole lot on this brand. I did actually look on Beer Advocate just to kind of help me out. And it says that it's 5.2% alcohol, which that's a little bit above Budweiser. I'm surprised. And they gave it a 70 out of 100. Normally these adjunct lagers, which this is an adjunct lager, probably uses corn syrup. As you can see, the head is dissipating rather quickly. I've been running into that. And I actually, you know, if you watch my Busch and Busch Light videos, they both did that. And I actually contacted Busch online, and they got back with me, and they refunded me, and they're sending me a t-shirt. So thanks, AB InBev, Anheuser-Busch, for reaching out to me and you know, taking care of me. You really care about what your customers think, so I appreciate that. So look forward to another video. Maybe I'll be wearing some sort of a t-shirt that they gave me. And maybe I'll try to do a re-review of those beers. Might have to do some of the Genesee products because they did the same thing. This, yeah, it just dissipated really quickly. And I'm sorry, that's a little disappointing because I kind of want that to stick around a little bit. That's where the aroma comes from a lot of. So what we got here, light golden. I love this whole thing. It's probably only about 8 ounces. Light golden, super clear. The bubbles are still coming up, but they're just not holding a head. And maybe they just don't care about that because maybe they don't expect people to pour this into a glass. They figured, you know, you're just going to drink it straight out of the can or the bottle. So, this brand is kind of come and go. You see it and you don't, and then you see it again and you don't. Pretty much when they quit delivering Schlitz in my area, they started bringing Stag in. So that was probably about 5 years ago, 4 years ago maybe. But this particular, the pint cans, I bought a 4-pack in Lone Jack, Missouri at a gas station for $3.99. So it's $1 a pint, essentially. So it's okay. I honestly thought it would be cheaper. But and it's really not that cheap at Walmart. They have 18 packs or 24 packs. It's like 18 bucks. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just, it seems like it'd be more of a budget brand beer, but let's give it a smell. Because the head's gone, not really smelling a whole lot. Very light graininess. I mean, it's like water. It's like sniffing a glass of water. I've had this long time ago in bottles. Someone bought it, and I just kind of have had it over the course of the years, here and there. Not very prominently though, so. I do remember seeing it and passing through St. Louis in like 24-ounce cans at the gas station and stuff like that. It may be more popular there. I think they used to have like stubbier bottles. Now they're back to the long neck bottles. And they have a session beer too, and the label has changed, where this is more of the vintage, very vintage label. They have more of an updated where the letters are more jagged looking, and it's a different color scheme, like white and stuff like that. So let's give it a taste. All right, definitely getting a graininess to it. You know, I say this a lot about beers of this classification. It's very similar to Miller High Life, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Hams, things along that nature. If it truly is 5.2 though, that's nice. That ticks off an extra box that the other ones don't. I'm sure back in the day, the 90s, when all these different brands weren't absorbed by bigger companies as much. I mean, this probably was a G. Heileman brand, which they're the makers of Old Style. You may have seen that. You know, they would do all the ice beers, and they may have had a Stag Light at some point, and some other variation. They may have had a malt liquor version of Stag. I don't know, you know. But as of right now, I only see this regular Stag. And apparently they have a Stag Session, which I'm guessing that's more of a modern term of saying light beer. Session is just lighter in body, calories, carbs, all that stuff. So if I was to see this, I mean, this is definitely working class. I mean, no doubt about it. Yeah, I'm getting that kind of like a cerealness out of it, like I would with High Life and Hams. I find that Schlitz has more bite to it, but I haven't had it in a few years because they quit carrying it in my area. There's a little bit of a head there, but as you can watch, it's going down pretty fast. It's crackling away. I'm not going to walk all the way to the camera so you can hear it. Some people are closer to their cameras so they can do that. The kitchen in here has a little more light. That's why I'm trying to do it. Although the audio, I don't know if it's as good as other locations I got. But, I don't know. It's very typical. It is what it is. If you like it and you see it, get it. I'm not going to say it's better or not as good as others, because there's like a baseline, and the sound wave that each one of them goes through, it either raises or lowers from that line very insignificantly. There's some carbonation. Excuse me. Wow. So, yeah, you'll find that it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, I guess you'd say average, you know. 70% is okay on Beer Advocate. And that's if you're going like a grade, like you're grading at school. If you grade at school, you know, 70% is like a C-. So that would be considered like an average beer. I look at it differently. I think that average means halfway. It's a balance. And 50% is an average of 0 to 100. So that's kind of how I look at it. So if it was like a 0 to 10, you know, I'd be giving it a 5, maybe a 5.5. You know, it's pleasant. I guess you could go as far as a 6 or so. It's pleasant. It's not bad. It's not foul. It doesn't smell. It doesn't taste weird. If it's cold and refreshing, why not? If it's cheap enough in your area, go for it. There's something different, you know. Yeah, it's the way they have it priced in my area. It's not as attractive as other brands. I'd much rather just go for Hams. Hams right now is one of the cheapest beers I can get. That Milwaukee's Best Premium, which is a great beer, and I hope to review it pretty soon. No reason not to. It's widely available in my area. So, anyway, let me know if you've had Stag. what you think of it, what your experience is with it. Where do you place it in the list of American adjunct lagers? You know, if it's better than some and not as good as others and everything. I'd like to hear it, so let's start a conversation about it. Thanks for watching my video, and I will see you guys later.